My mic sounds nice. Check one. Alright, first off, this your boy Supreme, aka Soup, aka Quest. I go by many names, do many things. Know what I mean? Alright, this video right here is my little tutorial on sampling with GarageBand. Loading samples to use in GarageBand. And this right here is for my man Kev Nice. NYCE, in the place to be. Big up, salute. My man J October, salute to the general. Average Bros, Dirty Words, Jihad in the building. All day, every day, forever. Alright, back to our regularly scheduled program. Sampling in GarageBand. First things first. You want to go to, you want to load the sample that you're going to use. Now for me, I have to load, I load the whole track and then I chop it up when I get it in. Then load it into the appropriate instrument, panel or whatever. But anyway, let's see here. And I probably should have had the song up already, but it is what it is. Okay, I'm using this track right here. Bam, I'm gonna load that in. Okay, now, like I said, I have to load in the song, then chop it up. Now, if you got your turntable hooked up, you can just drop in whatever cuts you're gonna use, whatever pieces, parts you're gonna use. You can do it that way instead of loading the whole song. But once you get all of that loaded, so you throw it all on one track. Now what you have to do is you have to convert to Apple Loop so it can come up in your loop library before you can load it and start playing. So to do that, you want to go to, be on the track that you're going to do. So I'm on this track here. You go to track, you go to edit. Edit, add to loop library. Bam. Now you're going to get this dialog box come up. And what you want to do, you want to go ahead up here and name the track or sample. Sample 2. And this is my second time sampling. So, I'm still new, fresh to this. So, but this is pretty much the basics of how you do it. And, like with anything else you learn in life, trial and error, repetition, do it yourself, keep doing it, put your own spin on it, then it'll get easier. But after you name the sample, scale I don't really worry about because it's just a sample. But if you actually putting in some instrumentals like guitar, horn, violin, whatever, then you would put minor, major. Maybe it's good for both. Maybe it's not good for anything. But I just leave that alone. I mean, you could put any, but I pretty much leave it alone. But what you want to do is go to genre. Now, this is how you're going to find your sample once you load it. It'll make it easier to find the sample. You go to genre, and what I do is I put it in experimental, then go to instrument descriptors, and I put other instrument. Once you do that, you click create, boom. You have your sample. Now, and I'm not going to click create because I already created it. So I'm going to click cancel. But like I said, name your sample. Genre, experimental, other instrument, create, bam. Now what that's going to do is when you come over here on top where it say loops, you want to click that, go to my loops, go down to experimental, Bam. There they go, lined up for you. Sample 2. Now I'm going to drag this in. And we're ready to work. Okay, so now I can get rid of that track. Sample 2 in. You can also pull up the editor, you know, and you see where the cut's at when you sample it. Now I'm not going to really actually cut this up yet. This is just to show you how to load it into GarageBand to use it as a sample. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just get out of there. I'm going to just cut it. Bam, 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 and do one more. Bam. Okay, so once you cut it, you got the parts you need to use. Everything else, you know, you can get rid of. You got the parts you need to use. Next thing is to bring up a new track. Now you can go down here to the bottom where it says add new instruments. You can go up here to track, add new track. Either way, you're going to add the software instrument track. Bam. Create that. Let it come in. Boom. Now, for the software instrument track, you want to go over here to the software instrument panel. Click on sound effects, comedy noises. That's sound effects, comedy noises. That's what you want your track to be. Now go ahead and pull up the keyboard. Boom. Now, my comedy noise track is sample track, whatever, is pretty much empty, except for like this middle section here. But you know, you want to go down to the beginning. Start at the beginning of the keyboard, all the way down at the beginning, first key. And now what you're going to do is load in your samples. So I'm going to grab this sample here, drag it down. Now you see when you get down, it says sample. Pull it over top the first key. You get your green plus circle thing. Drop it in. Next sample, drag it on down. Next key, drop it in. Next sample, next key, drop it in. Next sample, next key, drop it in. Okay, so now once you drop it in, boom. And I'm sorry you can't hear it because I'm recording my screen. I got my earphones in. So, but, you know, as long as you get the basics of how to load, you know, you good. So, all right, so now I got the samples in. Once you do that, you got your keyboard controller hooked up, or your MPC, MPD, iCal with the pads, whatever. And, you know, if you have the pads, you can, pretty sure you can program the pad to each key. Or you can just use the keyboard itself and play. So now that you got all of that done, clear that out. You got your keyboard hooked up. You can play the samples. You go ahead and you just click record. Well, you know, first thing you want to set up your tempo. What your tempo going to be. Set up the tempo. You know, drop in your sample. Then you can hook you up with a drum track. Or you could do the drum track first if you already know the tempo that you're going to use. But, you know, like I said, play with it. Put your own twist on it. Do what you do. And once I get this track done, you know, I'll let you hear it. But right now, that's pretty much the end of my tutorial. You know, like if I go down and record. Hold on, let me back that up. Oh yeah, and after you get your samples loaded, You can mute this track here, or you can just get rid of it altogether. Then, once you start recording, let me bring the keyboard back up because I don't have my controller hooked up right now. Alright, so bam. You go record. And you got your sample. Like I said, I wish I had it hooked up where you could hear it, but that's the rundown, the lowdown, the showdown, and the hoedown. So, salute to the generals. That's my tutorial. Peace out. Holla back. 1.